Hey guys, I have several journals and things that I'm working on, and they need a little extra oomph. So I thought, what better way to add some color than to break out the gel plate? So let me get all set up and we will get started. Okay, as you can see, I have my gel plate, I have my brayer, I have something to clean off my brayer, I have various paints around here, and then I'm going to try this zinc ice and zinc paint that I got in, and I've never used it before with this, but we're going to try it and see if it works. I mean, it's only paper and it's only paint. The paper and paint police are not going to come get you if you mess up, because there's no mess ups. I have just white copy paper, I have dictionary paper, and I have a whole bunch of stencils over here. So one of the things I like to do is pick a stencil. Let's just grab one here, and we'll do this leafy one. So lay it down on your plate, press it down a little bit, and then when you have tea-dyed paper, which I need to grab some of that, I'll show you first on white paper so it'll really show up, but I like to use distress ink. This is Vintage Photo. So what I'm going to do is get my brayer, and we're going to put some of the ink on the brayer like so, and then I'm going to just roll over the stencil, and you don't think that anything's happening, but it is. I'm going to do just a little bit more so it'll really show up this first time and you can see what's going on. Okay, just sprayer over it. And you want to do this, have everything ready, because you do want to do it while it's still wet. So pull up your stencil, take your piece of paper, lay it down, and then we're going to give it a good rub. Rub, rub, rub. You don't want it to dry right now. You want to get this while it's still wet. Okay, so rub, rub, rub. And pick a corner and peel up. And voila! Is that not cool? So let me get a piece of tea-dyed paper and we'll do this, and it looks like you've tea-dyed it with whatever design you choose. So let me get the tea-dyed paper. Okay, so I have some paper that I've tea-dyed, and this is a stencil that I've chosen. This is going to go with, I think, a lot of my journals. Do that so you can see. And I'm not going to be as heavy-handed this time as I was with that first stencil, because I want it just to be really faint in the background. So again, just take your brayer, ink it up, okay, I'm just going to gently roll over my stencil, and again, you don't think anything's happening, but it's laying down the ink. Okay, we're going to peel the stencil up, and while it's still wet, we're going to lay our paper down and give it a good rub. All the stencils that I'm using are from Linda Israel. They're all original works of art. And she cuts the stencils, she designs them, cuts the stencils. She has a stencil club every month, and then she has, I think, literally hundreds of stencils You could just go in there and look and purchase whatever makes your heart happy, and I'll put our link below. And this one is just really faint. Okay, it looks like it's been tea dyed. And we can use the same stencil or a different one on the other side. Let's see. Let's use this leaf stencil. Let's see how this one comes out. Again, let's ink it up. Roll over your stencil. I just want it dark enough where you can see, but not too dark that you can't write over it. Because I like my journals where you can do lots of writing. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Like I said, if you don't like it, it's just paper. Okay, let's grab another one. The important thing is to have everything ready. And rub, rub, rub. Don't forget your edges all over. And you can always take a little peek. Yep, and see if it's coming up. And there's that one. So I'm not worried about the edges because it's going to be trimmed down anyway for the journal. And let's see. And with these, it's just endless. Like I said, just whatever stencils you want to use. And I'm not worried about cleaning my stencils off right now because, like I said, this is just the distressed ink. If it was the paint, I would. I have a little container that I got from the Dollar Tree that has water with a little bit of soap in it. So when we start using the paint, then as soon as I pull these off, I'll put it into the soapy water because I don't want it to stay on here. Okay, let's do this one. See what this one looks like. And you can do it in the different colors of ink. You don't have to just do it in this one. And again, lay your paper down, and the next one we'll do a different color. Rub, rub, rub. And there's that one. All right, let's try another color. Let's see. I'm going to be working on a journal that has pink in it, so let's get something. I have my distressed oxides here. Let's see, there's barn door. Let's get something a little lighter. How about worn lipstick? Let's see what that will do. It may work and it may not, but we shall see. All right, let's do this flower one again. And let's see, let's get some of the brown off my brayer here. Okay, so we have distress oxide, we have the worn lipstick. Let's brayer some of this. And you see how we're getting paint on it. You don't want to just go back and forth. You want to roll it and get it covered like so. And then we're gently going to go over the top. Let's get a little bit more up here. Let's see what this does. And if we don't like it, when we start using our paint, we can cover it with the paint. Okay, let's peel this off. And we'll grab a tea-dyed sheet and give it a good massage. Rub, rub, rub. If you want to take a peek. Yep, it's looking good. Ooh, I like that. That came out really pretty. Yep, I like that one. And then another thing you can do, this still has ink on top. Let me see if I can match this up a little bit. And because there's still some residue on the bottom here. It's pretty close. And since this is already dry, I'm sure, let's ink it up. We're going to go back over it. We're going to wet this again. See all the ink that's on top of the stencil? Let's see what we can do with it. And if you don't, have tea-dyed paper, you can use, this is just ivory colored paper. And I'm just going to lay it on top of the stencil that's on top of the gel plate and press. Let's see what we get. Give it a good rub. Keep it flat. Okay. Aha! And look at that one. So that's taking the ink off the top of the gel plate, and then it's also getting in the middle too. That turned out really pretty. Really, really pretty. I think we need to do that again. And it may not turn out the same, but hey, it's worth a shot. So we're going to ink this up. Like I said, I still have the same stencil, same gel plate. So ink this up really well. Like I said, you want to do it while it's still wet. Well, that's pretty much dry. So we're going to lay this on top, press, and it's still just a little bit wet, but that's all right. And if you had a clean brayer, what you could do is, I don't know where my brayer is. Let's see here. So if you have a clean brayer, even though it doesn't look clean, it is. You could use this to go over the top to do your rubbing for you. Take a peek. Hands are always the best, but and like I said, if you want to wait a few minutes for this to dry, it's not smearing, it's not coming off, but you can tell it's still a little bit damp. Oh, I think it moved, but let's see. Oh my goodness. Gorgeous. I'm loving this effect. All right, so let's take this off and put this in the soapy water. All right, and I don't think I can lift because that's dry, so we can go over it. Let's see. Let's go over it with a darker color, because once that's dried, you can't lift it, so you need something to moisten it up a little bit. So let's try, that's worn lipstick, let's try candied apple. So let's clean off my brayer a little bit, get some of that pink off. Alright, let's ink it up. Like I said, this may not turn out. It may be a disaster. Who knows? Alright, let's go over the whole thing. Do a little bit more here. And like I said, you want to have everything ready. Your paper. And you don't want to work with it too much because it's going to dry on you. And I think I'm just going to use white paper on this. Lay it down and rub. This gel plate is, what size is it? I'll have to look and see, but I would really, they have one that's 12 by 12, and that'll be my next purchase. And not only do you get to fill up your whole paper, you'll have edges that you can use for scrap and make lots of goodies with that. So this is what this one looks like. And you see the flowers are very faint, but that's pretty. And then if we wanted to add another stencil on top of this, we could. Or we could lay it down, put a stencil on top, and use our blending brushes or something and do another design. But I like that. All right, so let me clean this off. Let me put the lids back on here. Set these to the side. And like I said, clean these off. Okay, next we're going to use some acrylic paints. And like I said, you can use tea-dyed paper, copy paper. I have some dictionary pages here that we're going to use. But let's find another stencil. Oh, I love this one. All right, let's put this one down. Okay. So, and when you do this, it works backwards. Anyway, so let's choose what color paints are we going to use. Let's try this. Let's try this Eyes Ink and see what it does. That's a gel. I have some more of this coming, so hopefully it'll work. So what color do we want the outline to be? All right, let's just start with the blue. Okay. So what we're going to do with this is just we're going to put down a little bit here, and a little bit there, a little bit here, and you can put down different colors. We're just going to keep it simple here in the beginning. Okay. And then we're going to brayer this. We're going to lay down our paint. Looks like we may have a little pink left in there, but that's all right. Whatever will be, will be. You might want the ink up there, buddy. And like I said, this paint may not work. Who knows? It's resisting in a few spots, but we shall see. Let me put just a little bit more down and see if we can fix those spots. There was some that I paint that I got from Michael's, and it did not work. It bubbled up. I asked artists that knew a lot more than I did what the deal was, sent pictures and all that, and you know, they said, is your gel plate clean? You know, is it your paper? Is it this and that? And so finally I tried a different paint and it was fine. Alright, so what we can do on this is, let's just get white paper for this. Let's lay down on top. See if we can't get a design off the top here. Got a little bit on my hand there, didn't get it quite to the edge. Well, very interesting. We can always lay down more on top. This is pretty thin. Let me go over it again. Pretty thin paint. Okay, so what we'll want to do on this, lift this up. And we have our design there, and we need to wait for this to dry. So it'll take a few minutes, so we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, this paint took a while to dry. You want it, you know, it's a little tacky, but it's not coming off. So you want that dry. So then what we're going to do is, and like I said, this may not be the best paint because it is pretty thin and it dries. It takes a while to dry. But anyway, it is what it is, so we'll continue on. So, excuse me. So we're going to lay down some gold. Excuse me. Got a little tickle there. So this is some, let's see, anyway, it's gold paint. So we're going to lay this on top. So a little blob here and there. That off. So we're going to gently brayer over the top. And the reason why you wanted this bottom layer to dry is because if you want to put this gold on top, it would just smear and make a big mess. So this is pretty light. You don't want to work it too much. Just get it nicely covered, because you don't want this to dry. Okay. Wipe a little bit of that off. And let's see what happens. Paper down. And we're going to really rub this one, because we want the gold to loosen up the blue and transfer it. And we want to be able to pick all this up. We may have some little crusty bits left, but that's fine. So rub, 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 and you might get a little wrinkle there. That's fine. Just rub it out. Don't Forget your edges here, your corners. Okay, let's see if we're working. Aha! It did turn out pretty. Can you see the gold shimmer? Well, that did turn out nice, even though we did have to wait for the paint to dry. But I like that. It's not bold and in your face. It's a nice color. I like that. All right, onward and upward. All right, we got a little something there, a little schmutz there. And what we can do is, let me find a baby wipe or something wet here. Let me get something and we'll get that a little bit off. Put a little water on there, loosen it up. And let me find a towel here. All right, sorry about that. So I found my little rag here, and we're just going to gently work that off. This is a little crusty bit we didn't want. Oh, no, that was a piece of one of the stencils. One of the little parts that didn't fall out. That's what was messing us up. Now you'll notice there's little crusty bits on here, and that's fine. That it's going to give character, character to the next layers. All right, let's find another stencil here. Like I said, these are all from Linda Israel, and they are fabulous. I'm collecting all of them, I think. All right, this is a pretty one. All right, get a paper where you can see this. It's a really pretty shape. All right, let's lay this one down. And let's just use some of the Artist Loft. This is Michael's brand. So I like this copper. We have a dark blue. I have a light blue, turquoise. And it's just really, like I said, your imagination. Black. Let's use this. Let's be bold. All right. Let's use some of this dark blue. Or what is it? Phthalo blue. All right. Ooh. A little crusty on the bottom there. All right. Let's do a little bit of this. And if you're heavy-handed and you get too much, like I said, well, you can always, that's what your scrap paper over here is for. You can always get rid of some of it. But since we do have quite a bit on here, let's see if we can get a pull off the top of the stencil. Let's see. Let's wipe some of this off. And lay this down. Let's see what we get. Rub, rub, rub. And like I said, you're not going to use the whole sheet always. You'd cut it up for pockets and tags and all of that. And you don't want it to be perfect every time. Very interesting. Very cool. All right. All right. Let's go over it with a little more blue since we picked some of that up. All right. Good coverage in between there. And like I said, I have a little container over here that has soapy water in it, because you don't want to let this dry on your stencil. And push that paint down in there. Okay, let's pull this off. And there's our design, and we're going to wait for this to dry, so it'll be just a few minutes. Okay, this was dried thoroughly, probably a little more than I wanted it to, but got called away and had to do a few things, but that's okay. So we're going to use some of this copper and put on top a few little blobs here and there. Beautiful color. If you got a little too much in one area, you can work it a little bit. Work it, girl. All right. That looks good. And paper over the top, and press and rub. Let me clean my brayer off a little bit. And your brayer is going to be built up with full of paint, and that's fine. Okay. All right, let's rub, rub, rub. Get those corners. I love these colors together, and hopefully this will turn out. If not, oh well. Little paper, little paint, no big deal. Alright, let's see if that was enough to lift up the design that was dried. And I believe it is. And look at this. Gorgeous. Has little crusty bits from the other paint, but that's fine. Gives it character. I really like this one. Really, really, really. Alright. Alright, and you'll see some crusty bits on here, which is fine, and they'll be lifted with the next one, and like I said, give it character. So let's do a few more.